For example, some facilitating organizations like CARE, they may work with partners and they may set up an MIS they may set up a project for each partner, but CARE runs the MIS. So the partner has a project, but CARE has all the projects in one MIS. In other cases, you have facilitating agencies who create MISs in each partner, but create a network so that they can all be linked together. So we're basically looking at those kinds of issues in Module 2. Then 2 weeks later, we're going to actually be going through the process of setting up the MIS and its projects, okay? So we look at the kind of information that's needed and the roles of the various people who are responsible for managing the system. So the MIS administrator, the project administrator, and data entry officers. So by the end of this, during this module, you will be setting up an MIS based upon, it's a practice MIS. You'll all be setting up the same one with slightly different identifying characteristics, but basically the same MIS. And we'll be going through how you do that, how you set up the MIS, how you create projects, and how you enter the names of the trainers who are working in the project, and how you begin to looking at data entry. Then we change gears for the next module, because although we've set up the MIS, before we can use it, we have to be able to collect reliable data from the field. And one of the biggest weaknesses that we have in this MIS, and I think generally in any MIS, is making sure that data quality is good. It's the biggest challenge that you're going to confront. And it has to be taken seriously, because if your data is wobbly, then the results you're going to get will be unreliable. So we're going through what are the data definitions and the process of data collection, who are the people who collect it, who are the people who enter the data, and how is it audited before it goes into the system. So what you'll be then doing is you'll be entering data from a number of projects, from a number of trainers. You'll be entering data into the system. It won't be terribly many. It's 10 data sets. You'll be entering the data into the system. Then, so you get some practice in how it's done. Then we go into the next module. We go into preparing reports. And we look at reports at two basic levels. We look at the project level, what's going on at the project, and we look there at two types of reports. One which looks at the overall performance of the project, and then we have the operational reports which look at how well the people who are doing the work are performing. How well are your trainers doing? So that's all at the project level. And then we have MIS level, which is where you have one or more projects in an MIS, and how you go about the process of aggregating the results and comparing the performance of various projects. Okay, the last module will take us into setting up networks, and networks are where you have different MISs, usually either because you have different user-defined fields, so you can't use the same MIS, or because you have a program which is operating in more than one country, and you want to aggregate those programs together and you want to compare their performance. So an organization like CARE, for example, has, World Vision, for example, has a network of several hundred projects. So does CARE, so does CRS. And the way in which we are able to look at different projects in different countries and through with different partners is by creating networks. We also, in this last module, we are going to be looking at supplemental utilities. We have gone through the basics thus far in the syllabus that I've given you, but here we look at some of the bells and whistles, or the features which are quite useful, but not central to the use of the system. Now, when we look at this, and if I go back to my timetable here, we're going to be doing the modules on the Tuesday. every 2 weeks, and the webinar will be taking about an hour and a half. Okay, and because we found that last time we did it, we restricted ourselves to an hour, but we found that most people at the end of the process commented that they felt that it could have been longer. They felt they needed longer to come fully to grips with the webinar. The only thing I will say is when somebody's got their microphone on. When the webinar is complete, the webinar is recorded and it will be available on Canvas, and also the parts of the training guide that we are using are also posted. So you'll be able to come back in and take a look at the recording of the webinar and the supporting documentation. I should also point out that the foundation document for this course is a manual that we've written. It's a 120 odd pages manual, and we've broken it up into chunks for each webinar. So you'll have it as a PowerPoint. You'll have it as a PowerPoint of what we're doing for the webinar. You'll also have it as a recorded document, and you'll also have it as a part which is extracted from the main document for each section. Okay, and then once we've been through the webinar, we've fielded questions over the next couple of weeks. You'll be required to get involved in some discussions and also in some exercises which we've created to make sure that you're following through as well as you can. In addition to that, one thing that Andrew and I found very useful last year, and I think most of the students did, was we had a sort of backdoor communication. I mean, we like working through Canvas, but when students encounter particular difficulties and want to be able to try and resolve any difficulties they may have, we'll provide you with our Skype addresses so that you can contact us at any time except at midnight. And between midnight and 6 o'clock, I'm on strike. But up to late evening every day, we're available to help you work through some of the assignments and challenges. Okay, thank you. Bill, can you take over now? Bill, are you there?
Sorry, I'm here. I was muted.
Okay.
Sorry about that. So let's stop and see if anybody has any questions thus far. This is a slightly longer schedule, or at least it's a later start and continuing a little further into July than we had originally planned. Could everyone make sure you have your microphones muted? Somebody's, here we go. I think it was Jeanette. It was Lillian. There we go. Okay. Nope. I keep on hearing a noise.
Well, it's either William, you, or me.
Okay.
Or Andrew.
Okay. It might have been William. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, we seem to have got rid of it. All right. So now what we can do, maybe what we'll do is see if there's any questions with anybody that's on the broadcast today. Is this fairly clear? Does anyone have any concerns or anything that you'd like to know more about right now?
Maybe Bill, I can say something just to...
Please, I was going to introduce you next, but
yeah.
Go right ahead.
Just to say that the webinars provide a very good opportunity to get an overview of each module, and there will definitely be question and answer time, and you'll have that opportunity. But where I come in is you'll be given guidelines on discussions, and there's a lot of learning that takes place during discussions. And I will participate, Hugh will participate in that, I will participate in that as well. And we'll have an opportunity, as Hugh said earlier, to follow through with anything that is a bit of a difficulty. And as Hugh has said, we will provide, or we have already begun providing Skype addresses. So So this is a chance for you to know that you won't be lost. You won't be sort of left out. And even if you're a slow student, we'll be able to provide that one-on-one support. So just to let you know that there's nobody who needs to feel lost in this course. We'll give you as personalized attention as we can.
And we actually have about half as many people in this course as we did the last time we ran it. So in some ways, the chances of you getting more immediate support are greater. And I do want to, I don't want to belabor the point, but I do want to emphasize that what Andrew said is really key, is that what we found was that students got discouraged and fell behind, or they got really preoccupied with their work or families, which is natural. That's expected to happen. We understand that on one hand. On the other hand, we encourage you to really try to contact us, even if it is to say, hey, I'm having a really busy period, or I'm going to be in the field for the next 4 or 5 days, so I won't be able to do my work. We'd rather hear that than just assume that you have dropped out of the course or something else has happened. We did have a situation where someone had a difficult problem with their mother getting very ill and really had to focus on that, and we understand that. So if you communicate with us and you keep us posted on what's going on, then we can solve your problems or work with you to solve the problems and keep you connected to the course and get you through all the way to the end. And then you're able to use a very powerful tool for your savings group work. So all right, if there's no questions, what I thought I would do is I'd like to, just for the final few minutes here, is to open this up. It would be really great to hear from each one of you a little bit about how you're connected to savings groups. And I understand that Alavo and Emerson, that English is something you struggle a little bit with, but don't worry, everybody struggles with something. So we would hope that you would say a few words about your savings group work. I see next to Alavo to the left is a picture of a, well, actually, it'd be great if Alavo would tell us what that picture is, but I think the work that Alavo and Emerson do is really interesting, and how it connects to savings group work would be really interesting to hear. So either one of you, I'm putting you on the spot, but if either one of you would be willing to talk about the Megafauna Foundation and your savings group work, it would be great to hear from you. So Emerson or Alavo, take it away, either one of you. And remember, you're muted. We're pointing at each other.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Emerson. Can you hear me? Everyone
Yes.
can hear me?
Can hear you fine.
Yes, Emerson, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Emerson. First of all, me and Ola, who work together to Marine Megafauna Foundation for Alternative Livelihood Department, which the aim, as I told a little bit before, the aim of the program is to provide a sustainable source of income to the fishermen households, so that they don't overcome fishing, so they reduce the pressure that they do in ocean. So we are running different projects like community tourism, farming, internship to the fishermen, and for this year we planning we started doing savings groups, and Olav joined us this year as well because he has more experience on the savings than me. So he now in the phase that to organize the group, having meetings with the fishermen to explain the objective of the savings, the advantage of the savings, and how we can do that, and where we are supporting, and also to see their interest and what they think about this. And so far it's going well, and maybe face some challenge to involve more men than women. Women are more willing to do this than the fishermen. for many reasons, the fishermen are always thinking to have fishing every day and having money every day. And yeah, the only challenge is that, yeah, I hope, and I think I mentioned pretty much everything. Thank you.
Emerson, thank you very much. Just wanted to, there's something I missed. Which country is this? Where
Mozambique.
Is this?
Mozambique, Tofu Beach.
Okay. I hope you haven't been too badly affected by the typhoons and the bad weather. But you're in the north of Mozambique, is that correct?
We are not in the north of Mozambique. We are in the south of Mozambique.
Oh, in the south. Okay.
In
okay.
Inhambane province.
Oh, in Inhambane. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I know it.
So you were out of the way of the last cyclone that came through.
But it's quite interesting because I've just come back from Mauritania, working on an ILO project there, and they're working with fishermen too. And it's more or less exactly as you described, that they've got money in their pocket barely, but actually it's proven after an initial bit of difficulty, it's proven to be very successful, and the fishermen are actually quite happy to stay very actively. But of course, at the beginning, it can be tricky.
Yeah, sure. Exactly is what we are facing now, because they like to have money like all days. They don't like don't like the idea of saving. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a conservation mission that the other day I read in the New York Times a huge threat the world is facing with mass extinction of many of animals, and megafauna are among the top of the list, and that includes things like manta rays and sharks and whales, and it's a very, very big threat. So the work that you guys are doing is really important. So I appreciate you being on the course, and I just found out some new information yesterday or the day before, maybe on Friday, that every couple of years the whole savings group field gets together for a big international conference. They're usually in Africa. The last time we did this, it was in Rwanda. And so in 2020, we will be having our next savings group conference, and it will be in Durban, South Africa. So, so the possibility of having someone from your organization come to that would be really great. But we'll
see you there, I hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted on that. All right.
Yeah, it's too close.
Muito obrigado, Olavo and Emerson. Why don't we hear from also down in the southern end of the African continent is William, and maybe we could hear from William and hear about the work that William does.
Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Your voice is breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
It's not great, but go ahead.
I am William from South Africa, and I'm working for an organization called African Honeybee. Then at African Honeybee, we have a project that teach people how to conserve African bees, especially bees, as you know that the bees are working.
I'm not sure that we can hear you well enough. Can others hear William all right? Or no? No,
I can hardly hear.
Yeah,
I think maybe, William, next time we talk, you should have yourself a nice new microphone.
Yeah, like a headset or something, William.
Yeah.
Because we really can't hear you, unfortunately. If you have something else you can grab quickly, we'll go on to another person and you can try to put in another headset or something. But this one is not working too well, okay? Sorry. Okay, well, please put yourself on mute or I'll mute him. Okay. All right. So maybe we could go to Stefano in Tanzania. Stefano, would you be happy to tell us about what you do with savings groups?
Unmute.
To put his microphone on.
Okay,
right,
go ahead.
There you go. You were muted, so now we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm Stefano from Tanzania. Hello? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sijambo.
Yeah, I'm working with Heifer International. and AIFA International under the project of EADD2. I'm working as a monitoring and evaluation officer. Yeah, I have heard this training through my fellow from the project of East Africa Youth Inclusion Program, which is called the EAP. Yeah, the man was participated last year in this course. So even as EADD2, we are working with different dial interesting group. So as one of the members who deal much with the data, that's why I have interested to learn MIS course, because we have a lot of challenge in data management, especially in the time when we are collecting data is where we experience a lot of problems. So
Yeah.
what I expect from this course, I'll be more competent in data management, because I used to study Bachelor of Science in Statistics. When I come to the field, I realize that I should add a lot of system which will help me in working. So thank you, Mr. William, because daily he used to update me what's going on upon the course. Thank you.
Can I ask you, whereabouts in Tanzania are you working?
Southern Highland.
Oh, Southern Highlands, Mbeya.
Yeah, Mbeya, Lungwe, Njombe.
Makambako. Okay.
Yeah.
I know the area. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, there is, most of the savings groups programs are in the central, northern and northwestern parts of Tanzania, you know, Mwanza, Arusha, Moshi, all the way down to Dar and up to Dodoma, but down the southwest, not so much. So you're a pioneer. Good for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Excellent. Let's go across several time zones to the Philippines. And Joy, if you could tell us about the work you're doing, that'd be great.
Hi, I'm Joy. So I have been in the Philippines for only about 3 months, but ICM I work for an organization called ICM, International Care Ministries. And we've been working in the Philippines for over 15, probably 20, 25 years now. And we're just kind of at the point where we've reached a saturation of much of the Philippines that we're really starting to scale and able to do a lot. But the real kind of sticking point for us is data collection. And I work as data analytics manager, and we provide kind of a 15-week training program for ultra poor families living in southern and middle Philippines. And we teach things like, kind of have a full gamut of programs. We teach health, we do health screenings, we teach livelihood, where savings groups comes in. And then after the 15-week program, every one of the communities can opt to create a savings group. So we have about 1,600 savings groups across the country that we currently manage using an app that we kind of developed to help with our whole program management, but it's not really working for savings groups. So that's why I'm here. I want to try to understand, you know, what's best practice and how we can better manage our savings groups, because it's not really working the same way as our other programs. And so we heard about this course through kind of other organizations that use this software, and so I'm really hoping that it kind of is the solution to some of our problems. We're having a difficult time kind of understanding what all of our savings groups are doing. So how much are they saving? How much are they loaning out? Each one of our savings groups has a different kind of they define some of their rules, and the savings group leader, we sometimes they come to a monthly meeting, and so sometimes we see them, sometimes we don't, and so it's hard to get consistent data, and it's hard to understand what's happening with our savings groups. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to get out of this course.
Okay, that's a very interesting comment. I mean, it's always the software is not really the problem. I mean, okay, apart from the normal bugs one associates with software. The basic problem is the operational management of data collection, analysis, and application to management decision making. But the biggest challenge of those three is getting reliable data on a regular basis that's useful to you. So I hope we can cover this. I should just give you some sort of sense of the scale of what we've got. Right now, the SAVIX MIS is providing information on approximately 800,000 groups all over the place. About 13 or 14 million people in about 500,000 groups all over the world, 75 countries. So it's a very widely used system. But it's always the case that, or nearly always the case, that when I go to and visit a program, the quality of data is always a challenge that at the beginning is underestimated. So it's very interesting that you should highlight it, and we're going to give that quite a bit of emphasis on the course.
So that'll be very interesting. I think it's also partially our process of how we collect it, and so I'm hoping to just understand what, obviously this is kind of one of the best practice for data collection for savings groups, and so I hope that we can kind of learn and kind of implement the system or implement a lot of the best practices for data collection and things.
Great. Well, thank you, Joy. I appreciate having you on the course. Let's try William again. William has a new headset. Hopefully he's got some better technology going on. William, can you hear us? I see William's face twice. I see a frozen William and I see a William that's moving. So let's talk to the one that's moving.
Can you hear me?
A little bit. Let's keep going.
Oh, yes. I am William. I'm from South Africa. And then I'm from the organization called African Honeybee. That African Honeybee will teach people how to conserve African
William, sorry, William. Sounds like you're underwater. This headset does not solve the problem. Maybe it's your audio software or something like that. I'm sorry. Could others hear him okay, or maybe just me? I apologize.
He's back. Okay.
Sorry, I just contacted my internet service provider because I just cannot have this. This has been going on for months. So, excuse me while I scream. So, I am back. And sorry, William, we just can't hear you. It's just the sound quality is just too poor. So, maybe you could get like a headset or something. But if you can work on that, and maybe I'll work with you. I'd be happy to connect with you at a later date, and we'll try to solve your problem. But try another technology. And okay, I apologize. If you want to type something into the chat box, I didn't tell you, folks, in Zoom we have a chat box. If you look in the bottom, you'll see it says chat, and you can communicate with everybody, or you can communicate individually with people on that chat box. So if you want to type in a few things for everybody, then we'll learn a little bit about what you're doing. In the meantime, let's hear from Jeanette in the DRC, in Goma. Jeanette, if you could tell us a little bit about what you're doing with savings groups.
Okay. We are Tier Fund Canada partners, and our organization is called CBK, which means Communauté Baptiste au Centre de l'Afrique. In fact, we are a department of diacony and development, and we are working on with farmers. And we had worked with farmers for 1 year, but we noticed that they need also money in order to provide for the agricultural input. And we've been organizing saving groups for 2 years, and now is the 3rd year. Then we were trained on MIS, and we have been trying to.
I can call you in about 20 minutes.
I'm the administrator, the manager of the MIS program in our project, and we need maybe to see how to structure our MIS, because we have two different projects in two different areas, but still in the northern, one in the northern east of Congo, and the other is in the southeastern part of Congo. And I have someone else who is trying to collect data from the southern part, but both of the two projects are working with farmers. And my challenge is that sometimes when I have to put data in the MIS and I come across a mistake, I don't know how to move through the MIS. And I think that thanks to this program, I will be able to record data properly in my MIS.
Great. Thank you very much, Jeanette. I think this will be a very helpful course for you and help you to improve the way data is collected and the way it reports out. So we're really glad to have someone from the DRC on the course with us. Actually, I think we had someone the last time we ran the course that was also from the DRC. So.
Yep, part of the course actually does cover how do you respond to the various messages that the system produces when there is a problem. So I hope we can cover, or at least cover the concern that you have.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next let's hear from Lillian from AMPATH, USAID AMPATH up in Eldoret. Lillian, I'm trying to unmute you, but I cannot.
We can't hear you, Lillian. Perhaps you can unmute your microphone. Hello.
Hi, Lillian. Welcome. We're having microphone problems as well with you.
Okay.
How's that?
But
There we go. That's good now.
I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Meaning academic model provide.
Oh, you're going in and out, Lillian. I'm sorry. I spoke too soon. Seems like you have a little bit of a connection challenge. Cannot hear you at all now.
What about now?
Yes.
Okay. I come from Kenya and I work with AMPAT. AMPAT is an acronym of.
Nope. Sorry, Lillian. Your microphone is just not working. If you have an alternative microphone you can use.
Can you hear me?
It's very muffled right now. Okay, Lillian, why don't you work on that? And it will be a really important thing, particularly for these webinars, because we do like to have some back and forth that people have their technology sorted out. So we could, if I can help you with that, please let me know. There's someone listed as HP, but we don't see their face. So if you are HP, if you would unmute and tell us who you are and give us your information about what you're doing with savings groups. All right, HB is either not hearing or is having mic difficulty. So finally we have PMN 1005. We don't know who that is either. If that's you, please unmute and tell us who you are.
PMN 1005.
Or while we're waiting for them, hopefully you've seen in your chat, William has done a nice introduction. I'll read it. Hi, everyone. I am William from South Africa and working for the organization called African Honeybee, of which we teach the communities on how to farm with bees and other small businesses like poultry, bakery, and vegetable farming. We have 20 savings groups at the moment, and the savings groups help our members to start their own businesses by borrowing money from their groups. And at the moment, we have 70 small businesses that have been opened. Excellent. Thank you so much, William. And I'm sorry we had microphone troubles, but we're happy to see you, even if we can't hear you. So, all right. Let's go back to Lillian and see if she has been able to solve her microphone problems. Let's try you again, Lillian. All right, we're not hearing from Lillian, and we don't know who HP is, but they are not unmuting their mics, so there will continue to be a mystery person. And PMN 1005, again, is a mystery person that we don't know. I wonder if that's a, yeah, okay. PMN 1005 happens to be Placide Inyonieze, and he is from the National Union of Disabled People of Rwanda. And it would be terrific if we could hear from Placide. Placide, if you can hear us, we know you're here on the course with us and you're listening, but you are muted and I can't unmute you. Oh, there we are. I unmuted him. All right, so Placide, welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your savings group work in Rwanda, please?
My name is Placide. I am working for the National Union of Disability in Rwanda. I have been working with MIS with the help of Andrew Mijam beginning for the last year.
Excellent.
Now we are using this MIS with 260 saving groups, which we have now. But this year we are going to create other saving groups because we have the target of reaching 14,000 people with disabilities.
Oh, great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Good to hear you, Placide. Welcome to SMDP Online.
I'm really interested in this because I just ran a training course in Rwanda, and I know the National Union of Disabled People in Uganda. Do you know George Mukasa? Mukisa Mukasa?
No. I have joined the organization in the last year, but I think others knows well this man because the program has begun. There is 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I am new in the program, but some workmates already know the Ugandan man.
Okay.
And George now works for the Norwegian Agency for Development for
Right.
the past
NAD.
couple of years, NAD. So,
Yeah.
all right. I think that HP, who is on our list here, is actually I think that's Helia. I'm not exactly sure, but she says, unfortunately, I was in a meeting that was extended beyond the planned, and it is only now that I'm able to come out. Regards, Helia. So I don't know if that means that Helia is with us or not. And then I have Akabondo, who actually, unfortunately, keeps on sending me a message that requires me to pay him to read my messages. So that's not going to work out. A little way of reducing your spam, but it reduces your email entirely. So he will join us at some later date, hopefully. And finally, then we have Lillian, which I'd love to try one more time to see if we can hear from Lillian from Ampath. So Lillian, maybe we could try to unmute, and we'll see if your microphone improved.
Hello.
Hello.
So far, so good, Lillian.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Lillian, and I work with AMPAT. AMPAT is situated in Eldoret, Kenya. AMPAT is a partnership between my teaching and referral and my university in consortium with Indiana University. So AMPAT is a health program that deals with HIV/AIDS, and it's a health program, and we address food security and income insecurity. That's why we decided to come up with 7 groups. In our organization, we call our 7 groups GISHE. GISHE means Group Integrated Saving for Health Empowerment. The reason why we call our groups GISHE is because we integrate health programs and saving groups. And we provide them with, we put our people into a group, and we teach them about GISHE methodology and business and agriculture. In those groups, we also integrate health-related programs where we train them on pregnant and maternal health care. We also group people who have diabetes, hypertension, and chronic diseases. We also have groups that have people in the community who are HIV negative and those who are negative. So we also have groups of guardians who are guardians of OVC guardians. OVC are orphans and vulnerable children. In AMPAT, we cover a wide area. We cover a wide area that is Uasin Gishu, Nandi, Bungoma, Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, and Trans Nzoia. So basically, we are in Uasin Gishu and western part of Kenya. We currently have 1,799 saving groups with 45,000 members. And from these groups, 80.2% are women.
Right, that's a big program. Excellent. Your sound quality was better, but not perfect. So hopefully we can work on that for the next time we're together. Thank you so much, Lillian. We really appreciate having you here, and it's great to have Ampath. I know we've had people from Ampath have been in face-to-face courses in Tanzania and elsewhere. So it's really great to have you aboard. So, all right. So as I mentioned, we are missing some people. We're probably missing about half the class, and they will be able to listen to this recording, actually 2 recordings, because of the issue with my computer and my internet dying. It actually truncated the recording. So, but you don't really matter. It doesn't matter to you because you're here, so you won't have to listen to it. I appreciate everyone joining us. I hope this was informative. We are off and running now. So those of you that have not completed your self-assessment, please do that. And the exercise of not only completing it, but uploading it is important because you'll be uploading a lot of documents. There is one little kind of finicky thing I have to tell you about is that there is no function within Canvas, which is our online platform, for recording your participation in a webinar. And since the 7 webinars we're doing are required part of the course, you will see a little assignment, and it basically says webinar attendance, and it's simply a little Word document that says, you know, I, William Mavuso, have attended the webinar on this date, and you submit it, and that gives me proof that you attended the webinar. I'm sorry, there isn't like an automatic way if you show up here that it can verify your attendance, but Canvas is not.
Screenshot?
Well, I could do it with a screenshot too, I suppose. I can, but it's kind of, I'd like to leave it up to the student to take the responsibility for doing that. It just takes 1 minute to fill out the form and submit it, and you only have to do it 7 times between now and the middle of July. So, but that's part of me keeping track of your grades, so we make sure that you get through the course. All right, so I want to repeat a couple of things that's important. If you are a MasterCard scholar, which is really everybody except Joy, then you will be within the next week or so hearing from me about completing a acceptance form. If you're someone who has said you're going to make a payment through your organization and that payment has not been affected yet for your contribution to the course, it's very important that we get that squared away. If for some reason it's impossible for your organization to make the payment, then I simply need to talk to one of your supervisors that says, hey, we're not able to make the payment, and we can probably work out a waiver situation. But either way, I do need that to be sorted out. And the most important thing is that you show up, follow along. If you don't understand something, you're having a problem, let us know so we can solve your problem quickly. All 3 of us are available at the email addresses we've provided, so you can contact us and we will get back to you within no later than probably 6 to 12 hours. Just remember that here in the United States, I'm anywhere from 6 to 7 hour time difference, unless it's Joy, which is 12-hour time difference. So keep that in mind. Someone was calling me on Skype at 5 this morning and I wasn't quite up yet. So just keep that in mind. I think that's pretty much it. Module 2 will be released next week, or what is the actual date, Hugh? I think it's going to be.
Hold on. I'll tell you, just a minute.
Right.
It's going to be posted on Monday the 13th.
Okay, Monday 13th. So that means
the webinar is the 14th.
Okay. So webinars we're generally going to make on Tuesdays, the same time as this one, so you can kind of clear your calendar, look at the schedule on that syllabus page, and it tells you when all the webinars are going to be. Unless something drastically changes, you can put that in your calendar and you can count on that. And in the meantime, get all your work done for this, which is really just the self-assessment and going in and doing your introduction on the first discussion forum of the program. And then you'll be ready so that when Module 2 comes out, you can hit the ground running and be able to get working on it. So before we wrap up, any final questions from anybody? Anything any would like to share? All right. Well, I really appreciate everybody being here. I apologize for the technical issues. My very first business when I get off this broadcast is to contact my ISP and wring their neck. No, I won't wring their neck. I will see if I can get some help from them to solve my problem, so this won't happen again. But I really appreciate everybody showing up. And those of you that we did have some sound issues with, if you could try to work with someone within your IT department or your smart friend that knows about this kind of stuff, and see if you can get your microphone working well, because it is really great in the webinar to have the ability to see and hear people and be able to have some back and forth exchange. So it is really important. All right, well, I'm very, very proud to be working with such an esteemed group of people on this course, and we look forward to working with you over the next several weeks. And please stay in touch and keep up with the work. And Hugh and Andrew, any final words on your end?
No, I think you said it all, Bill. We just hope that we have folks showing up next week and ready to go.
Perfect. And Andrew?
Yeah, just to say that the grading will be going on as we do the discussions, as you submit your assignments. If you have any question, please feel free to contact me or Hugh. We've given our Skype addresses, but also you can communicate on the platform itself.
Perfect. Well, thank you all. Everyone have a great day and a great week, and we will all be back in touch early next week, next Tuesday, for our second webinar, and Hope everyone has a great week in between. All right. We're going to end the broadcast now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.